Welcome to Afterfought, featuring your host, Afterfought. Today I'm going to be reviewing a new game, the closed beta for KartRider Drift. The game is out for the Xbox One, PC, and PS4. I will be covering the maps, items and game modes, characters, drift, and the potential for eSports. So now, let's move on to the maps and how I think they work and how well they work in KartRider Drift.
For starters, the map selection is really good because there are 16 different maps that you can choose from, which give for a variety of experiences throughout the individual games.
I also like how each of the maps, as you see here in the loading screen, show you the map layout and how difficult each map is. It's really good for new players as they can actually see what they're going up against and how much of a hard or easy time they will racing against their opponents, or even themselves if they're doing time trial based modes, or the speed mode, which I'll showcase later on. Some maps are absolutely harder than others, even if they are 1 star. And as you'll see here in this short gameplay clip, it's a lot harder to maneuver around the map than other maps. This one showcased here isn't that bad, but just watch the clip for a few seconds so you get kind of an understanding of how the game is working and how the map design works too. Some maps have pretty decent design, like this one showcased here. And there are other ones that you'll see later on that are absolutely terrible maps and no one should ever play on them ever. Maps like these were hard because of their difficulty level, while maps such as these are absolutely atrocious even though it's only 2 stars. As you see from the gameplay after it loads, how awful the map is. There's a circular pattern, and you have to go back and forth throughout the map, and it ruins the whole entire value of the gameplay design. Just watch this clip for a little bit, and you'll understand why, as I have unfortunately seen. Who even thought these little segments right here are even good ideas? Like, absolutely atrocious. Just wait. You'll see it right about now. Yeah, like, who thought that is a smart idea to make in map design? That is terrible. Absolutely terrible. Now that we are done with the maps, time to go on to the items and game modes. In some of these boxes that look like Mario Kart boxes, each one's different for each map, you get different items, such as the lock that prevents you from using items, or the water balloon, which makes me flip out and not do anything. You also have the boost, which makes you go really fast until you bump into those walls or another player, while the magnet tethers yourself to an enemy. And it was really useful, but also really hurt me several times throughout this whole entire game. There are 2 game modes also, item mode and speed mode. Each have solos, duos, and quads, tailored to you and your friends. There also is a racing school, with beginner, tutorial, and intermediate, and the time trials, as you will see in a few seconds here. Now on to the characters and the battle pass, which for some people is the best part of the whole thing. And there are 4 characters: Dow, Bazzy, Brody, and Diz. They're all aesthetic. Then there are different skins and balloons you can put on your card, and different emotions that each character has. Very interesting, and the game is very lively. There are many different karts to choose from also, each of them with different effects and abilities, as you can see on the right side of the screen. And the different wheels, which are just aesthetic and don't do anything for the game. I use the ones on the right, a second from the right, as they just look really cool to me. And then you have 2 speed boosters. All of this is aesthetic, as you can see. And then for the Battle Pass, there are many different options for you to get experience and rewards. Mostly if you do the premium option, as you can see here. I'm going through each different tier, at least on the free side, to see how many perks and objectives you get. After a certain tier, just 30 in this game, there are no more free items to unlock. But if you do the premium version, it goes all the way to tier 100. As you can see me rapidly dashing my mouse to the very, very end. As you can see, I also will be going through the premium options for the Battle Pass, as you can see on the screen right now, actually. And if you want to go through each one in depth, I recommend you go through slow-mo mode on YouTube's settings. And that way you can take a look at each of these one step at a time instead of having to rapidly see me clicking through each different tier in the Battle Pass itself. And then we have the daily challenges and premium challenges, each of which give you experience for your tiers in the Battle Pass. And now it's time for the worst part of this whole entire game, the drift. After the magnet, you can see here that drift is absolutely horrible. And then you have other drifts coming up right here, which actually aren't that bad. But then maps like that was terrible. Ruins the game, and then that drift isn't that bad either. Isn't really showing my case. Some of these drifts are absolutely horrible and ruin the flow of the map. You'll see in a few seconds. Like that drift didn't do anything for my character. What's it supposed to do? Help me out? That drift hit me into a wall and ruins my momentum and the chances of me winning that game. You have drifts like that, which put me all the way on the other side of the map. That's not really fair to the players. They have to coordinate the drift. It doesn't create a high skill gap and makes everything look pretty awful. And now for the most important part of this review, the potential for eSports. The map selection is pretty good with 16 different options, allowing for a diverse amount of matches, and the pros to get a true feeling and understanding of the map in which they will be racing upon. Random item mode is not a good option because of the RNG in the items, and the integrity of the game gets ruined because you are using items and not having a skill-based match, as all racing games should have. On the flip side, the random speed mode is a great mode because the only items in that mode are the boosts, which have some RNG, but very little compared to the random item mode, meaning this mode is more competitive than random item mode and better off for esports for KartRider Drift. While I like the map selection, not every map should be in the game. For example, you'll see in this match, while it's also an item duo match, does not really work really well as a map and can create a lot of issues for a fair competitive game, but that also has to deal with the drift, which is an awful mechanic for this game. As you can see here, the drift, as you just saw, is absolutely horrible for this game, and it's not skill-based. I get it, it's kind of similar to other racing games, but it really ruins the integrity of this game. Plus, as I mentioned earlier, items are not good for the esports potential of this game. It's not a game that could benefit from items. But the speed mode, as I mentioned earlier, is a really good option and allows for the longevity of the game. The problem also is that you can't really do private matches. You can only invite your friends through your Nexon account or through your account of either PC or Xbox, which is really unfortunate, as that simple mode would make the game have a lot more fun and longevity, which would be exactly what this game needs to become a huge major esport. As you can see from this match here, the boost item is not that bad. It allows you to catch up, but I'm not really using it right now, which is my own fault for showcasing the video. But all the other players are using it and doing way better than I have. And that drift you just saw was absolutely atrocious. I would never want to use that ever, which potentially harms this game. My final score is 3 out of 5 for this video game. If there were private lobbies, speed mode selection only, and no drift, this game's esport would be potentially huge, and everyone would be playing it, or most people, and the gaming community would basically thrive compared to what we normally have. I hope you liked this video. Please check out the other videos in the Afterfought YouTube channel, or go to the blog, Facebook, and Twitter links in the description below. Thank you all, and have a wonderful and joyous day.